And so, my dear ones, as I was thinking today, well, it'll be interesting to see what Spirit wants us all to be focused on. Several things came to mind, but what kept sticking with me in the wee hours of the morning was the idea and the concept that you are, and you are it exactly now. You are the best thing you have going for you. Yeah, you are the best thing that you have going for you. Now, if you and I could really get a sense of that, our lives would be very different. Why? Because we would have faith in ourselves and trust in ourselves and believe in ourselves. And no, I don't have to go outside of myself to take care of myself and to produce my good. And the only way I'm going to know I'm the best thing I have going for me, I'm the best thing I've got, is to connect with that higher essence that I am. Because of my human self, I'm certainly not going to come to that conclusion, because I'll be thinking about what I'm not more than what I am, and what I haven't got more than what I have, and what I'm lacking instead of all that is available to me. And that's very interesting to me now as I grow longer in the tooth every day. That life could be extremely, beautifully interesting, fulfilling, satisfying, productive, creative, affirming, uplifting, advancing, not only my own life, but all life. That's how ancient wisdom comes down to us. That's its message. That's what it tells us. Well, why in heaven's name, then, am I not getting that? Why is it I don't know that I am the best thing I have going for me in my life? Too much outside influence is one of the things. Too much listening to what other people think, say, how they act towards you and everyone and me. Too much focus on being concerned about all of that. More concerned about what other people think about me than I think about myself. Too much of the time. That's what happens to us all, and God knows. I've learned that over and over again, not only in my own life, but listening for thousands of hours with people in counseling. We think so very little of ourselves, really. And when we feel good, we're amazed. Many of us. Most of us, actually. And yet we don't seem to be able to hold on to that. Well, this book, The Spirit of Prayer by Jeffrey, out of print, written in 1938, phenomenal in its wisdom, phenomenal in its ancient wisdom, renewed, made new, presented in a different light, in a new light. That's why we call it New Thought. This might give us a clue as to why we don't do so well and why we're not at the stage we would like ourselves to be at, perhaps. And he says here in this book, if I can read it properly, bear with me, because I have it underlined so many times with different colors I can hardly make out the writing. If in fact we get this, I think we'll all learn something this morning that we've already known, perhaps, but now are listening differently. If any of you are familiar with the teachings of Jesus, the great master teacher, the Christed one, anywhere he says, amen, amen, I say to you, what he's really saying is, now listen here, friends. Listen up, pay attention, focus to what I'm about to share with you. This is serious now, and this is good stuff to know. So before I start sharing this, I'm going to say amen, amen, my friends, to you. In this book, he says, page 31 in this version, we would like to have God mend some situation for us, but it cannot be mended while we are holding a wrong attitude of mind toward it. If we are holding some attitude of mind that is disintegrating in its action, we should not wonder that we ourselves are not integrated. We knit together and not vitally conscious of the life flow of the Spirit within us, all that we're thinking and feeling. And that is the great influencer in our lives. And he said, we must come to the understanding that God is not far off, that God is not reluctant to hear, not reluctant to answer, but that it is we ourselves who have blocked the answer. We have made it impossible for our hearts to feel the divine kindness and goodness because we are so full of unkindness towards some person, place, thing, or situation. We are critical. We are condemnatory. We are sarcastic and cynical. So, okay, it's not spirit that's withholding from us, it's we ourselves are withholding from ourselves because of our chronic attitude with regard to other things in life and living. Now, this is a very important thing for us to get, because I believe we're not getting it, because if we were getting it, the world wouldn't be in the state it's in at the moment. So we cannot be in spirit knowing something good for ourselves when we are knowing something that's not good for another. Does that make clear sense to you? Because that is what stops us and blocks us. We don't get to shake our fists at any person, place, or thing. We don't get to wish comeuppance for anyone. We don't get to wish ill will for anyone or anything. Not if you and I want to be all that we can be and be the full expression of the life force of being within us. It's stopped, it's blocked by our unkindness, by our resentments, by our condemnations, by our criticisms, by our judgments that are all too freely expressed as though they were the truth. Now, that's a wallop up the side of the head for us all. That's the plain, simple facts. If you want the goodness and kindness and mercy of Spirit to flow through you, you must be allowing the goodness and kindness and mercy of your Spirit to flow through you onto every person, place, and thing, regardless. And that's a real big frog to swallow. And yet, That's the only way you and I are ever going to self-realize. So are you seriously in the business of self-realization or not? And I have to say, my dear ones, that every time you and I can overcome a negative thought, a negative feeling, our lives are so much lighter. So much lighter. So more energetic. So more joyous. We're not weighed down and our energy is not depleted by all our anxieties, fears, suspicions, and resentments. So amen, amen. I say to me, I say to you, do we get it? Because that's the only thing in your way and in my way too. Our withholding of the flow of our kindness, our lovingness, our generosity, our givingness, our caring and our sharing with all and for all. It's the only thing. And he states, the Spirit of God dwells in humanity. If we hold ourselves in an untrue relation to our fellow beings, we cannot possibly find our true relation with the Divine One. We harbor suspicious, he says, it's really underlined here, suspicious and unmerciful states of mind. We entertain resentments and grudges and ill will toward our fellows, and then we wonder why we cannot become conscious of the divine presence. The presence is with us, but we are not conscious of it because we are occupied with all that is unlike it. This puts up a wall, a partition around us. So it is thus that we try to enter into the presence of the divine goodness with our own false walls of unkindness towards someone set solidly between us and the responsive presence of God's loving kindness. You see, it is not surprising that we are not conscious of the divine being and do not feel the divine presence. We cannot feel it because our hearts are full of another feeling. Darn it. It's been socked to us very firmly. And yet, it's wonderful for you and for me to hear this and to know this because very few people get it. Very few people understand that. They don't know about this. And to think that your life and mine could be mended, fixed, healed, could be prosperous, fulfilled, and satisfying if you and I just could become kinder, more compassionate, more generous in our spirit, more caring, more connected with the sadnesses and the sorrows and the sufferings of others, without getting bogged down in them, but to feel the need within us to act in a way that we can do something to alleviate the sufferings of others. It's a very potent and powerful thing. And it puts us on our high honor, really. We're on our high honor in order to be able to engage in life at that level of awareness. And it's not going to happen overnight because we have to untrain our thinking trends. We have to filter out in the unconscious mind all the unconscious stuff that got stuffed in there over eons of thinking and feeling along the negative side of life. And we can purify that. But only when you and I keep ourselves reined in, checked, and monitored. We have to corral all our wild horses, so to speak, which are our wild thoughts and feelings of negativity. We've got to corral them, and we've got to release them, and we've got to return them back into the nothingness from whence they came, because there's no divine substance to any of them. And the only thing that's real is what has divine substance to it. That's the only thing that's real in our lives. Anything that has divine substance to it has that basis, has that platform of truth to it, is the only thing that's real, the only thing that's lasting, the only thing that's worthwhile. And so we are called today in a gentle way now. This is not so that you and I can berate ourselves at all. No. The first one we have to show mercy and goodness and kindness to is ourself. The very first one, because we are the best thing we have going for us. So we want that to be the best thing we have going for us. So for that to happen, you and I have to enter into a different relationship with ourselves. And we have to take ourselves gently along this path of renewal and recovery and remembrance. And that means love yourself, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, because Spirit dwells in you as you, and that is how Spirit is in your regard. Although we may be full of negativity, Spirit never, ever, ever is not all love in our regard. But you and I have the ability to stop the flow of that, or allow the flow of that to penetrate every aspect of our life and living. And that's today's message. And it's up to you and to me to be eager and keen to listen to and become aware of it. It's good news. It really is good news. You know, we can deal with the truth. What we cannot deal with is non-truth. And so I think we're big enough, old enough, and bold enough to hear the truth and learn from it. I really do. And that's not to put ourselves down in any way, because within all of us, there is that capacity for great good, and all of us have been responsible for great good. But if we're wondering why we can never really get there, you know, we make it as far as we can see the winning post, but we never seem to be quite getting to the winning post and passing through it, is because we're not yet finished. We're not yet finished. We're not the complete work of art that we're making of ourselves. And when we are, then life will be free at last, and you and I will always stand in the sovereignty of Spirit, and nothing will disturb us or cause us fear. Nothing. Because we will know who we are. And we will trust who we are. We will love who we are. We will bless who we are. And how we are with ourselves is how we are with all of life. And that's the truth, my dears. So I want to remind us and leave us with the understanding that each and every one of us is created whole, perfect, and complete. Each and every one of us is created as this pulsating portal of light in the sea of consciousness. And each and every one of us can radiate all of that magnificence in its entirety if we get out of the way and open up the outlet and let it flow through us. You are incredibly amazing. And not only that, but you're incredibly, amazingly unique. And you're here to make a beautiful difference. And only you can make the difference that you are here to make. And if we don't make that, it doesn't get made, that difference. So I would say, let's pick ourselves up. Let's shake ourselves off. Let's stand tall in the awareness of the sovereignty of being that inhabits us, and that we can relate with at any time and call forth at any time. And when I say call it forth, I mean express it through ourselves at any time. Because it's not out there. I'm not seeking it. I am it. I'm one with it. I already am found. It's found. It's always been found. It's always been that integral part of who and what I am. And not only that, it's the essential and everlasting part of me that I can depend on and rely on and will always be in forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So I say, be of good cheer. All is well, really. Nothing for you or for me to do except one thing. Change the way we think and change the way we feel about ourselves and all of life. That's all. That one thing is huge. And I'm glad we're in this journey together and can support each other. So today, make up your mind that you are the best thing you have in your life going for you, and feel glad and rejoice about that, and begin truly to honor it in a way that you can trust that that is so, and rely upon the power and the principle and the beautiful creative process, the law of life itself that's available to you, and work with it consciously and see how your life will open up in beautiful ways. You are beautiful. You are truly one of a kind. We need you. We need you at the best of yourself, especially right now. And we support you in all of your magnificence. So know you are loved and cherished, not by your source only, but by all the people in your life who love you and by your spiritual community. You're loved, you're cherished, you're a blessing to us all. And that's how I see each and every one of us. And that's how we need to see everybody on the planet. I know it's hard looking at some individuals and what they seem to be demonstrating and not to be able to associate them with their divine essence, but that's what we're called to do. They're not their behaviors. They're not whom they think they are. They are so much more than that. And the only thing that's going to turn any one of us around, especially the chronic cases amongst us, is for you and for me to recognize them in their truth. That's the only way. So your job and my job is one job, and it's to bless and bless and bless every single person, place, and thing on the planet. Every single one. And most especially those individuals that seem to get on our very last nerve. They're the ones that need the greatest blessing. So let's join forces in this thing called blessing, and let us free ourselves from all that sense of not being enough and not having and being without and being lacking and limited. It's baloney. We're not. Each and every one of us in the direst of circumstances can pull ourselves up out of those direst circumstances, but only when we first begin to know ourselves in truth, and know who we truly are. And we need to be able to help each other to know who we truly are. So let's gently remind each other that we are not our thoughts and our feelings and our behaviors. This is not who we are. And why would we settle for being less than who we are? So gently reminding each other when we fall asleep to come higher, friend, as the scriptures say. So, I think we've more than enough to chew on for today and the rest of our lives for that matter. And so now we're going to conclude the way we always conclude. We're celebrating. What are we celebrating? Our fullness, our plenty. We're honoring Source as our source. We're showing that we rely upon our source by sharing our daily bread, knowing that our daily bread is always enough, and enough is always plenty. And you and I will never be in want once we live from that premise. I always have enough, enough is always plenty, and from that plenty, I have a divine reservoir, and from that divine reservoir, I can share, and it will never deplete me in any way, but will be multiplied and returned to me, because good begets good. Good multiplies good. So let's take our gift between our amazing hands, our blessing hands, and say, and your gift may come in different ways, but nevertheless, join me in joining your hands and blessing your fullness as we say, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in sharing my good. And I know it goes forth to mend and fix and heal and be a blessing. And so it is. So, my dear ones, until we meet again, please, please know you're never far away from our thoughts or our heart. We have you, we really have you in our prayerful states of being. And we're knowing for you only good and very good. And I know that all of us will come through this experience together, the better for having gone through it. And we will be changed, and the world will be changed, and all for the better. That's what I'm knowing. And I'm knowing it for your loved ones too. So continue to feel the blessing of Source. Continue to keep your energy high. It's the best thing you can do for the planet right now. And stay tuned in to all that is available to you virtually right now. It's a beautiful way of feeling connected, and all those who do that will tell you so. So make the effort. Try and become familiar with the technology so you can join us in so many different ways. We love you, we care about you, we're here for you. We will do whatever it is that we can do for you, but you have to let us know. And thank you so much for your loyal, your dedicated and committed support of our work, our center. It is deeply appreciated. And I know that only good will come to you as a result. So blessed be, and as the children say goodbye, my grandniece and nephew, Isla and Ryan and Isla. I love that when they do it. So take care of yourself. All is well.